Hello guys, it's finally March. That means a lot of new games are coming throughout the month. Even though I might still play Monster Hunter Wilds for the opening week, it's still a long month to go, and we got a list of the biggest game coming this March. Stay tuned and let's roll the list. The first Berserker Khazan is a new Souls-like anime game with a brutal adventure, dark and intense combat from Dungeons Fighter Online universe. I still remember seeing this game when it was still called Project BBQ and was supposed to be an MMORPG. Even though they changed the genre midway, it's still a decent game with a Souls-like mechanics that kind of reminds me of Black Myth Wukong in most part. The games follow Khazan, an ex-general of Pelos Empire, who is now branded as traitor, betrayed and left to die. This time, you got another chance to live after a mysterious force choose you to be their vassal. With a new dark power, you will encounter monster and evil to achieve your goal. The best thing about the combat here is, even though it's a Souls-like game, it combines hack and slash and a lot of brutal execution, since you will playing as a Berserker. I like the game so much since, let's be honest, it's a Souls-like game with fast combat, parrying, counters, tons of weapon, brutal hack and slash, and most important thing, it is an anime game who also came from Dungeons Fighter universe. Though I wish we got more characters, it's still exciting enough. If you are interested, you can play the demo right now for free, or you can wait since the game is coming pretty soon on March 27, 2025 for PlayStation 5, Xbox X and S, and PC. You know the hero shooter genre is booming right now, so a new one emerged with new ideas. This is Fragpunk, a new hero shooter with unique card system. One of the most exciting features in Fragpunk is its round-based modifier system. So before each round, team can use special ability cards that alter the game's mechanic, creating unpredictable and dynamic battles, which means you need to completely change the way a match out, forcing you to strategically think and adapt to the enemy's tactic. I think the game has a unique playstyle and a pretty good chaotic fun gameplay, fresh for the hero shooter genre. Do I think Fragpunk could be the next big hero shooter? Well, that depends on the market and how well the NetEase is bringing everything fresh to the game, so we will see. Anyway, the game is coming soon on March 6, 2025 for PlayStation 5, Xbox X and S, and PC. Rise of Ronin has been a great success on console, and finally it's coming to PC. This action RPG developed by Team Ninja is an open-world game with a narrative-driven story set in chaotic final years of Edo period Japan. Check one. The game offers deep combat mechanics and offers choices of different weapons, like katanas, dual blade, pole arms, and since this is the Bakumatsu period, you have to use firearms like pistols and rifles, which is quite unfair since you now have ranged combat. And speaking about multiple enemies, there are a lot of characters, historical figures, and multiple choices to pick, which leads to different consequence and ending. Overall, Rise of Ronin is a great open world based in Japan, where you can explore freely, meet a lot of interesting characters, fighting against enemies using a mixed swordplay and gun combat. And the most interesting thing is now you can play on PC, which means better graphics and modding coming soon. If you like the game, make sure to wait until March 11, 2025, available on PlayStation 5 and now PC.
How can we build a land of peace on the backs of 1,000 dead?
You'll have to kill them all. Do you understand?
Ubisoft is finally taking the Assassin's Creed franchise to feudal Japan, a setting fans have been requesting for years, and Ubisoft, being Ubisoft as usual, have to make it about black samurai based on fake history from Wikipedia. What a century to be alive. The game is set in feudal Japan where you play as a dual character, Yasuke, the samurai who wields katana, heavy armor, and brute force playstyle, mostly great for confrontations, and Naoe, the kunoichi, with a stealth assassination technique, represents the traditional Assassin's Creed formula with stealth, parkour, and gadgets. Ubisoft promised a dynamic open world with the season changing in the landscape and all the random events throughout the map. Even though I don't want to talk about the backlash for the game, Ubisoft being Ubisoft as always, finds a way to make the game worse by releasing bad press after another bad press. In the end, they are ruining the game's name by doing anything nowadays. Anyway, the game is supposed to be released last month after multiple delays since November 2024, and now finally coming this month on March 20, 2025 for PlayStation 5, Xbox XS, and PC. This is Mini Royale, a competitive FPS where the battlefield is a kid's bedroom, and the warriors are a green army toy soldier. At its core, Mini Royale is a tactical first-person shooter, but it focuses on a quick, intense engagement rather than a large-scale, drawn-out battle. Unlike other FPS games that rely on the large open areas, Mini Royale is, well, mini, and built for fast and strategic combat with the background of kids' toys playground. And since most military shooters that go for hyper-realistic visual, Mini Royale takes a more stylized, almost like Andy's room in Toy Story. Overall, I think the game is a unique mini Fortnite with a lot of game modes like multiplayer 5v5, custom matches, and the obvious one, a potential battle royale style mechanics. And the game is going to be released on March 28, 2025, exclusively for PC. Atomfall is a survival action game. This upcoming survival RPG is set 5 years after the Windscale nuclear disaster in northern England. Unlike other post-apocalyptic titles that focus on large-scale destruction, Atomfall is shaping up to be the mix of survival horror and mystery, a truly unique and unsettling experience. Atomfall used a unique setting instead of nuclear wasteland or any futuristic dystopia. They instead go for a remote, desolate British countryside, along with some weird folk horror elements such as cults, mutation, and more unexplained creatures hiding in the dark. I would say the game is quite familiar with Fallout, Stalker, or even the games like Atomic Heart, since most of them take place in the post-apocalyptic era after the Cold War. So if you like this type of game, make sure to prepare for another adventure when the game's release on March 27, 2025 for PlayStation 5, Xbox XS, and PC. After nearly a decade since Killing Floor 2, the franchise is making a return with the next Killing Floor 3. Unlike previous games, which focus mostly on survival gameplay, Killing Floor 3 introduced a stronger narrative element to the game. Killing Floor 3 is taking the genre to a darker cyberpunk dystopia where technology is fused with horror man-like creatures, controlled by Khazan, a corrupt mega corporation responsible for deadly outbreak. Killing Floor is still all about horde shooter at its core, but this time the developer is doubling down on more tactical depth, more weapons, and mostly more insane enemy encounter, force you to play a little bit smarter with your tactics. For someone who likes playing horror shooter, it's a great callback to the good old horror shooters with more monsters, guns, and most importantly, brutal action combat. And if you are like me, it is great to know that the game is finally coming on March 25th, 2025 for PlayStation 5, Xbox XS, and PC. The sequel of the first Chornobylite, this time, Exclusion Zone, offers an expansive open-world experience with a new gameplay and more stories to keep you on your seat. You are a plane walker who travels through parallel worlds in search of precious, high-energy materials called Chornobylite. But it is called precious for a reason, because all the hordes of mutants and creepy monsters are surrounding its place, and thus, you have to fight them and survive with other remaining survivors. The combat combines both melee and range options, which draw inspiration from Souls-like games where dodging, backstab, and stamina management are emphasized during the encounter, while also range combat still provides traditional shooting mechanics with both first-person and third-person views. There are also 6 distinct classes, each offering unique playstyles and abilities, so having your build is another layer of the gameplay mechanics. Well, for someone who loves to play Fallout and any survival RPG games out there, Chornobylite 2 might be a good game to try since they are releasing early access this month on March 6, 2025 for PlayStation 5, Xbox X and S, and PC. Sugardew Island sounds familiar with Stardew Valley because they are the same genre. I know some of you might probably think this is just another Harvest Moon ripoff, which you might probably right. But since I'm a cozy farm game enthusiast, I should talk about the new game in my beloved genre. In Sugardew Island, players are tasked with running their farm shop on an island inhabited by adorable forest folks. The gameplay focuses on cultivating crops, raising the animals, and selling produce to the island's inhabitants. The same as every farm game out there. The only difference is where you usually sell your goods in the bin. This time you will have your own shop where you can sell items and negotiate with town folks for the price. Like I said before, I'm a huge cozy farm game enjoyer. And if you are the same as me, maybe the game could be for you since it is coming pretty soon on March 7, 2025 for PlayStation, Xbox X and S, PC, and Switch. Inzoi is a new game that's ambitious enough to take down the sole player in the sim genre, the sim itself. For those who are new to the game, Inzoi is a life simulator game with the next-gen project build, focused on hyper-realistic graphics and deep customization, which aim to redefine the live sim experience by blending creativity, storytelling, and immersive AI-driven interaction. If those weren't enough to convince you, unlike traditional live sims, Inzoi set itself apart with photorealistic characters model and living environments. Even the showcase shows detailed texture, an in-depth building system which I undeniably couldn't resist. Even the expressive characters animation and interaction all in one game. I have one thing to ask the developer, mostly about the performance of the game, since everyone might probably forget that the great graphics comes with high specification. And since this is a live sim game, should we need quantum computer to run it? That's still a question I wonder myself. But anyway, the game is finally coming on March 28, 2025, entering early access for PC and later on for PlayStation and Xbox console. Okay, that is all the game coming this month. Obviously, I put a lot of attention for Inzoi and Khazan, and not forget to see how Assassin's Creed Shadow turns out to be. Maybe it could be great and maybe I should stream the game on day 1. Unless they have early access, like they always do. Anyway, thank you very much for watching until the end, and don't forget to like the videos and subscribe to the channel since we are going to talk a lot about video games. Come by the live stream since we are going to live Monster Hunter Wilds a lot this month too. Once again, thank you for tuning in and I'll see you very soon. Stay Nolep, guys.